Well, your Tennessee Vols are 9-2, one win away, because we got a lot of help this weekend. We are one win away from the college football playoffs. Tennessee is sitting in a really good spot, and in my opinion, I think they're going to be hosting a home game with the way Alabama lost, the way Indiana looked, Ole Miss losing. I think there's a very good chance that Tennessee may host a game. Now, they may not either. They may have to go on the road. But anyway, Tennessee's in if they can beat Vanderbilt. That's a very big if. But anyway, let's talk about this win over UTEP. Tennessee got off to a really slow start. Did not look great in that first half. No points. They did end up scoring 56 points, beating UTEP 56-0. Barely threw for over 200 yards. A lot of that's due to the fact that Nico was taken out of the game late. They let some backups play. Sampson was pulled as well. He didn't even get to 100 yards, but he did have a TD. Dylan Sampson now has over 1,300 total yards rushing. So if he can get to around 200 yards in this Vanderbilt game, which will not be easy, he'd hit the 1,500 total yards for the season. So, it's hard to really nitpick, when you win 56-0. But at the same time, Tennessee still just doesn't look right in a lot of areas. I still just don't think we look the way we need to look, and we need to play really good this week against Vanderbilt. This is a team, Vanderbilt, that's 6-5. They went down to LSU, gave LSU a really, really good game, and so Tennessee needs to bring their A game. Some good things about this game I want to say, though. Peyton Lewis looked really good running the football. James Pierce had a couple sacks. He looked good. I know he got injured in the game. I hope he's okay. Brew McCoy caught a couple TDs in his last game at Neyland Stadium. I was really glad to see that. Love Brew McCoy. Everything he stands for. And I'm glad he's found a home here. At least according to him. He says he considers Knoxville his home now. So I'm glad that. Defensively, we limited UTEP to under 100 yards rushing. Pretty good day on that, on all accounts on that. So Tennessee wins 56-0. It's on to Vanderbilt. A game that is going to be an absolute war. It is going to be a fight. Vanderbilt just barely got beat by LSU at LSU. Vanderbilt has played everybody, maybe outside of South Carolina, really tough this year. It's been really good games. They took Texas to the wire. They beat Alabama earlier in the year, beat Kentucky, beat Auburn. They have some really good Virginia Tech. They have some really good quality wins. So Tennessee needs to come to play next week. If they do, they're going to be in the college football playoffs. But anyway, that's the Tennessee UTEP recap. Now let's talk about the Week 13 power rankings, and I'm going to go from last to first. Let's start with the 16th, Mississippi State. They lost to Missouri. And Mississippi State has gradually gotten better every week, but they just don't have the horses in the stable to win this year. I think that they'll be better next year, so hopefully they can get a conference win or two, because they didn't win any conference games this year. Offensively at times they look okay, but defensively, pretty sure that, what was it? Did Missouri put 59 points on them? I'll have to go back and look, but I think they scored like 59 points on Mississippi State, but I could be wrong. It might have been 39, I'm sorry. But anyway, Missouri put a lot of points on them, and hopefully they'll be better next year. At 15, Kentucky. They played hard. You got to give them credit. They played hard, but, they had their moments there where they could have got back in that game against Texas, kind of made it like a 10-point game, but they couldn't do it. And Texas just kind of pulled away. Kentucky's just had a nightmare season. They're going to miss a bowl game for the first time in a very, very long time. Kentucky is. So Mark Stoops, this has just been a nightmare season. I think one thing Mark Stoops needs to do is quit going out here and getting these transfer portal QBs that are not working out. He needs to get a quarterback that's going to get built up within the system and develop, rather than going out and getting these guys that are not even starters from the year before, like Vandegrift from Georgia. He never even played at Georgia, and he was a disaster this year for Kentucky. So they need to get somebody better at the quarterback position. And I think they need to get more playmakers too. I feel like they don't have the playmakers to win a lot of these SEC games. So Anyway, Kentucky at 15. 14, Oklahoma. They pick up their second SEC win of the season, and they are bowl eligible with this win. Just a huge win. Beat Alabama 27-3. I don't know what. Vanderbilt's just he dialed up a perfect game plan for Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe was in hell all game long, could not do anything. Give kudos to Oklahoma, and they have ruined Alabama's season. And Oklahoma is bowling. So I know the Oklahoma fans are going to be happy with that. At number 13, Auburn. Auburn picked up their second SEC League win of the year as well, beating A&M in a 3 or 4 overtime thriller. Went down to a 2-point conversion that they stopped A&M on, and big win for Auburn and Hugh Freeze, because there's a lot of people saying, Hugh Freeze is he's not the guy, and he still may not be the guy, but I think that kind of puts some heat off of him and gives them a little bit more momentum. And I know they play Alabama this week, so if they could go and they play Alabama, win that game, they're going to go bowling. And that's going to be a really good game next week against Alabama. They have to go to Alabama, though, so we'll see what happens. But Auburn will be up for that game. Number 12, Arkansas. They beat Louisiana Tech. Arkansas just, they're kind of just sloppy. They looked really awful early on in that game, but they got through it and scored some points late. But I think that gave Arkansas their 6th win of the season, so I think they're bowl eligible. They have Missouri next week. So, but it'd be nice if Arkansas can get their 7th win of the season. But, Arkansas has had they brought in a lot of good portal players. The running back from Utah, and then, it was Utah, and then they brought in the guy from Utah State, I think, or Boise State, as their quarterback, and and Taylor Green, and they've got the playmakers, and they just have turnovers and penalties, and they've just shot themselves in the foot, game in and game out. So, but I have Arkansas at number 12, number 11, Vandy. Man, it would have been really, really big if they could have went into LSU and picked up their 7th win of the season, but I think the biggest play of that game was when it was 7-7, and Vandy went for it instead of kicking the field goal, and LSU stopped them. If Vandy could have picked up that first down, I think it would have really changed the complexion of that game, and Vandy may have won that game, and that would have been huge. But they have Tennessee this week, and there's nothing they'd rather do than spoil Tennessee season, and they have a good chance, in my opinion, of doing that. I mean, I really give Vandy a good. Diego Pavia is a great quarterback. Tennessee is not playing great. Very inconsistent, playing a quarter here, playing a quarter there, and Vanderbilt can definitely beat Tennessee next week if Tennessee doesn't put 4 quarters together. So Vanderbilt's very much improved this year. I got them at number 11. Number 10, Florida. This blows my mind. I picked Florida to have 6 wins in the regular season, and people called me crazy. They're at 6 wins right now. They're going for their 7th win against Florida State, and they're like a 13.5-point favorite in that game, so they should easily cover that. Florida, if you're a Florida fan, you got to be over the moon. In just 2 weeks, you've went from just total dejection. We're keeping Billy Napier. It's all doom and gloom. You beat LSU at home. You beat Ole Miss at home. DJ Lagway looks like the real deal. You've got to be pumped up if you're a Florida fan, and I think you're going to definitely win that game against Florida State, get you 7 wins. Who knows? Maybe you get you a New Year's Day bowl, I don't know, at Jacksonville or something like that in Florida. I do not know the Gator Bowl, but there's a chance you could maybe even get that. But number 9, LSU, they bounced back from the defeat of Florida, and they did beat Vandy. I thought LSU looked pretty good. They looked solid. They looked good defensively. They bottled up Diego Pavia, almost doubled them up in total yards from Vandy. And LSU's quarterback, Nussmeier, I thought he looked really good throwing the ball. He looked really, he had all time to throw, so that helped him out a lot. He wasn't touched. So I thought he looked good. I thought he's been really the bright spot on that team. His play has not really been a reflection of this season. He's one of the better quarterbacks in this league, in my opinion, and I think he'll be playing on Sundays. Number 8, Missouri. Missouri's starting to play better here lately, playing better ball. If they could have somehow won that game at South Carolina, which they they kind of gave it away at the end, man. Missouri have 2 losses. Now, Missouri does have just a joke of a schedule. They just was gift-wrapped a beautiful schedule, and they have found a way to lose 3 games this season, but they handled Mississippi State very easily. They get Arkansas next week. I've got them at number 8. And Eli Drinkwitz, I call him Dorkowitz, him out there yelling at the Mississippi State fans saying, I'll run the score up. He's so cringeworthy and such an idiot. God, I can't stand him. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But number 7, Ole Miss, man, just an absolutely deflating loss to Florida. A lot of gas. I think Kiffin should have kicked a lot of field goals instead of going for it. And then Jackson Dart threw like 3 interceptions in this game. Just gave the game away. Really bad decisions. Florida played well as well. You got to give them credit. Florida's playing really good football right now. And Ole Miss, they blew their chance. I mean, they were going to be in the college football playoffs with that win, no doubt. And they blew it. So they're going to be not going unless something just miraculous happens. Number 6, Alabama. They're in the same boat. Just dropped. They went to Norman, Oklahoma, and only scored 3 points. Lost 27-3 to Oklahoma. Jalen Milroe looked awful. Defensively, they allowed Jackson Arnold to run all over them and make some big plays defensively or offensively for Alabama. Like I said, they couldn't do anything. Completely bottled that offense up. You got to give. The credit to the defense coordinator for Oklahoma with having a really great game plan. Number 5. Now we're going to start talking about potential college football playoff teams here. Now these are teams that I think have a good chance of still getting in. A&M, Texas A&M, they lost to Auburn yesterday. Now A&M, they don't have a great chance of getting in, but they have an opportunity. If they can beat Texas, and then if they beat Texas, they're in the SEC championship game, then they got to play Georgia. So the odds of them beating Texas and Georgia are not very good, but there is a path there that they do get to the college football playoffs. Texas has got to go to College Station. That's not going to be a very easy win for Texas. That's really a coin flip game in my opinion. But if they do get to the SEC championship game, I don't think there's any way they beat Georgia. But if they can pull those 2 games off, they're in the college football playoffs. Number 4, and I can't believe I'm saying this, South Carolina, 3 losses. Should be 2 if they would not have gotten completely hosed by the officials in the LSU game earlier this year. South Carolina blows my mind how good they played this year. And I'll tell you, what's really crazy is defensively all year long they've just been solid, getting after the quarterback, Kennard, and the other dude on the other end just getting after it. They've got a good safety, good corners, good linebacker play too. They are solid defensively as you get in this conference. And man, Lenore Sellers is playing great ball. Rocket Sanders at running back's a great running back. South Carolina's not a team you want to play right now. And I just thought South Carolina would be awful this year. Shame on me. I want to give my flowers to South Carolina because South Carolina is a very solid team, and I think they're worthy, even with 3 losses, of getting in the college football playoffs. They have played a brutal schedule, and I think they have done great this year. At number 3, Tennessee, picking up the win against UTEP, won 56-0, and have Vandy this week take care of business. Tennessee's in. And, Tennessee needs to start playing better, play more consistent, and they need to do better through the air. I think Vanderbilt's going to really try to make Nico beat them through the air. Nico's going to have to come to play. Receivers are going to have to come to play, catch the football, and hopefully Dylan Sampson will have another game where he's 100-plus yards. Lean on him. As long as Tennessee does not have turnovers, does not have penalties, they should beat Vanderbilt. They are 10 or 11-point favorite in this game. But you make a lot of turnovers, make penalties. Diego Pavia doing some crazy things here and there, and Vanderbilt could pull the upset off, but let's pray that doesn't happen. Number 2, Georgia. Got off to a slow start, kind of like Tennessee did against UMass, but they pulled away. Carson Beck's playing better. They're starting to hit their stride a little bit offensively, and they have just earned their path to the SEC championship game with that win. So now they're locked in there. and now they get Georgia Tech next week, so they can't lose that game either. Georgia Tech's not awful, but Georgia should take care of them, get to the SEC championship game, and they're starting to play a lot better. Number 1, Texas. It's hard for me to put Texas here, and it's no disrespect to Texas. I think Texas is a good team. Texas hasn't played anybody. The best win on Texas's resume is Michigan. They've not played anybody with the pulse this season. When they did play a team with the pulse, Georgia, they lost, and they lost convincingly at home. So they got to play a really tough game this week in College Station. That's going to be tough. If they can win that game, they go to the SEC championship game. But Texas has its work cut out in front of it here. I mean, this is the thing with Texas. They're number 1 right now. I got them in the SEC, the power rankings. They could miss the college football playoffs if they lose to A&M. They could lose because their resume and their strength of schedule is not the best. So Texas could drop all the way out, possibly. I don't think it will happen, but it could happen. So Texas really needs to beat A&M this week. So anyway, guys, that's my Tennessee recap against UTEP and my SEC Power Rankings 1 through 16. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys later.